Nothing to do, nowhere to. Life is a time pass, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, पता नहीं, जो थारी राय सो भारी राय. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. देखो सुनो मत बोलो. Whenever, whatever you are, be 100% कर्नाटक. किसी को आओ मत कहो, किसी को जाओ मत कहो. ना कुछ पाना ना कुछ खोना. Who asked you live at zero complete level? मौज में रहो, be happy.
श्री कृष्णा श्री कृष्णा श्री कृष्णा श्री कृष्णा. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः. गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Life has two components. One is knowledge and second is action. All actions are done to get happiness and avoid miseries. There are two types of actions: involvement or withdrawal. So, whatever we do in our life, it is done only to get happiness. Nobody does anything to get miseries. For example, those people who get married, what for they get married? To become miserable? No. They become, that's a different topic. How simple it is. Now those who afterwards fight and then seek separation, for what? Same happiness. So their whole life is a struggle to get happiness. There are people who observe fast. They do it for happiness. Others like me keep on eating for happiness. Some people keep on talking Bakasur, I am Bakasur, for getting happiness. Some people observe Maunam for happiness. So conclusion is what? Expression of life that we are is a struggle wherein we are seeking happiness. And yet we don't learn. So what we have to learn? Instead of seeking happiness in life, why not express happiness? Meaning, whatever we are doing, do it cheerfully and happily. And whatever we are not doing, let us not do that cheerfully and happily, not out of bitterness. Like there are people who are vegetarians. So they have got very bitterness feeling towards the non-vegetarian people. Now what business we have got? Let them eat anything as long as they don't eat us. That's it. No problem. So this is the first aspect of life. Now the second aspect is knowledge. So when we take the knowledge aspect into consideration, then we will be less reactionary in life. See? When I come to know that the other person is going to harm me, I come to know. Know is important. When I come to know the other person is harmful to me, then action, I will run away or I'll kill him. Meaning, these two factors, knowledge and action, they must be perfectly synchronized. So, both these aspects, knowledge and action, they are expression of the same source. Chitta vayavaha chit kriyayuta shakhayor shakti mulaka. So these two faculties, knowledge and action, they are expression of a common source, and that common source we call it as consciousness. Now, when you draw two lines from the same point, for example, imagine this is the point. Now, if we have to draw two lines, those two lines cannot be parallel. So, suppose this is one line, this is another line. So, there will be angle. See? Like two fingers come out of the same palm, and if they are straightened, there will be an angle between the two. So, as you go away from the source, from the point where from these two energies are spreading out, as we go away, the distance between the two starts widening. And as we come closer to the source, the distance between the two starts narrowing. And ultimately, when the knowledge and action, they merge 100%, we come back to the source. So, if this is understood, then now let us analyze our life. So, those who are studying Vedanta Upanishad, they have this notion that knowledge is everything. Rute Dhyananna Mukti, knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. And those who are Upasana Pradhan, those who are devotion type, they say, what is this all the time? Brahman, Brahman, Brahman. I like to cry. You must have seen there are many Kathakar. When they are doing the Katha, Rama, Krishna, etc., they will be bringing the upsurge of emotions to such an extent that all the audience, including themselves, they will be constantly crying. So, two type of people. Those who are able to think and those who are not able to think properly, therefore they want some support. Now, when we are knowledge predominant in our life, then what happens? Then we are able to pinpoint the cause of our miseries and then help ourselves go out of it. Like when I come to know that if I take excessive food, then I feel very sleepy, therefore I should not take excessive food. See? Now the other type who are not able to understand this, then they are told, look here, today is Ekadashi, you are not supposed to take food. If you take food on that day, you will go to hell. Therefore, avoid. Thus, both the paths, knowledge and devotion, they are meant for two different types of people. Everything is not for everybody. Like if you ask me anything about mathematics, even when the counting is done, suppose I am counting the notes, in between I get lost. I just can't do it. It may be sounding stupid, but I can't. I don't know what is. There is something manufacturer's defect. Like after in Hindi, when we count 29, 27, 27, is, 30, I get confused. Therefore, such people, what they should do? They should follow the path of devotion. And what is devotion? In devotion, the I is diluted by surrendering at a higher level. The result is the same. Yad yad karma karomi tattadakilam shambho tavaradhana. So when we are doing anything for some higher cause, and for us the Guru or the God. See, for example, he kept this flower over here. Now these are not the leftover flowers from the garbage, because I am offering to Guru. And when we are offering it to the Guru, then we have a sense of fulfillment, joy. Ultimately, this is what we are seeking. And if a person of knowledge, understanding, if he is doing, he will not be disturbed by presence or absence of anything. Because he has now understood that the happiness does not come from outside. Happiness is our essential nature. Because he is able to analyze his experiences. For example, I take a cup of tea in the morning. Okay. Then, if I get the cup of tea in the morning, I am very happy. If I don't get, I am very miserable. When this is repeated, then I come to a conclusion, a wrong conclusion, that happiness is coming from tea, because whenever I get tea, I am happy. If I don't get, I am miserable. Now, if we just understand our own experience, see, when I want tea means what, yaar? What is happening? So that time we discover that the desire for the tea creates agitations in the mind. And when I get the cup of tea, the type I want, all agitations quietened. Then an intelligent person can understand that worldly things and beings are not the source of happiness, but when you are at peace with yourself, you remain undisturbed under any condition, then we don't seek happiness, we discover happiness. See? And a happy person is one with the God. See? Bhagwan Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita tells, Brahma Bhuta, the seeker who has merged in the divine through knowledge, Brahma Bhuta. What are the symptoms? Prasannatma, he is ever cheerful and happy. Meaning what? All the time, ha. No. Meaning, na shoshati, na kankshati. Doesn't bring the past in the present. Na kankshati, doesn't worry about the future. So, what this knowledge is doing to this seeker, he has discarded the past and the future and their impact on him. What a devotee does, the same thing. When I am doing the puja or chanting the Lord's name, I am dropping the whole world, the past, the future, everything. And I am fully involved in doing my puja or my japa or my study, etc. So in both the cases, whether you follow knowledge or you follow devotion, what is ultimately achieved is that we train ourselves to remain in the present as long as possible. But the difference is, in case of knowledge, external supports are minimum. Don't require anything, no supports. But when we go to upasana or devotion, so many external supports are required. If it is Shiva, then white flowers and Bilva Patra, you cannot offer Tulasi to Shiva. If you do that, you will go to hell. Oh, no, I will not do it. If you are doing upasana of Lord Vishnu, then no white, then yellow flower, yellow chandan, and pitambara. Clothes also should be yellow. Yellow, dirty fellow. And there, if you do something else, then you will have to go through the consequences. No, I will not do that. Then the third one. The one who is doing upasana of the Devi, everything red, no other. And if that is not there, the devotee or the, what you call, the upasaka, he gets disturbed. Because he is more than focusing attention on the divine, his attention is on the external parapara. Therefore, initially it is necessary. It is something like this. Our problem is our mind doesn't remain focused. So the training has to be given to the mind. In case of knowledge, mind is educated. In case of devotion, mind is trained. So what is the training? First of all, we will be sitting with so many people together and so many instruments and so many bhajans going on. So many supports. And because of so many supports, we are able to focus attention on the God whose glory is being sung. Then when we become expert in this level, then we graduate and grow further. Now, not too many bhajan kirtan, too many things around, but now you take only one name of the Lord. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So many supports are rejected and one support is taken. And when this one support is taken, we are growing closer to ourselves. Objects are many, sense organs are one. Many colors and forms, vision one. Many sounds, hearing is one. Many smells, nose is one. So, when we are going from many to one, like in case of devotion, so many things, tabla, peti, music and all that, and clapping and all noise. Then we discard that and take only one mantra. So we are migrating from many to one. Then what happens? The frequency of thoughts per second in the mind is reduced. Because Not too many supports, only one support. Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. When this is practiced for a period of time, but here also the devotees become disturbed. What is the disturbance? The disturbance is they are very particular about many things. That discipline, instead of becoming an asset, it becomes a point of guilt. See, today I should have done the japa, but I could not do. Hey Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Because I is still there. I am doing meditation. I could not do meditation. So many people came. Oh, I don't know why. See, friends, because I is still there. And then slowly, slowly, we will expose ourselves to many religious or the devotional scriptures like Bhagavad Mahapurana. Now, before the Bhagavad Mahapuran proper begins, initially from the Vishnu Puran or Padma Puran, there are 6 chapters. And in those 6 chapters, it is establish the value and importance of Bhagavad Mahapuran. And then the conclusion of that story is when we have got value for something, then alone we will seek that. And therefore, there are so many beautiful stories. Listening to stories, it is very easy because so many supports. So one short story I'll tell you from there. There was one Gokarnaji, and then his brother happened to become a ghost. And therefore, to help him come out of that Preta Yoni, he started doing the Bhagavad Katha. And that ghost or the Preta doesn't have the body, so he enters a bamboo with 7 knots. And in that space, because he doesn't have shape or body, so the Preta enters in that hollowness of the bamboo. And one day, the Katha is over, 1 knot breaks. Second day, the Katha is over, 2nd knot breaks. 7 days, 7 knots break. Mooladhar, Swadhisthana, then Manipur, then Anahata, Vishuddha, Chakra, and Agya and Sahasrar, 7 knots opened. And then out of that bamboo, that Preta becomes the Parshad, the divine. And he is ready to go with Narayana to his abode. That time, this Kathakar Gokarnaji says, Sir, objection. Narayana says, why? Why you are taking only one? Others were also listening. Why not them? Then Bhagavan Narayana says, others were sleeping even while listening. And this Preta, he heard all the 7 days without break, and in between he was reflecting on what he has heard. Therefore, only hearing is not enough. Shravan must be followed by Manan, reflection. But normally what happens? In case of the Upasana or the devotion, it becomes a mechanical process. And whenever you do anything mechanically, you lose the charm and the joy of life. It becomes kind of a punishment. Therefore, this is told thereafter, therefore one should listen to Bhagavad Katha in this manner. Listen and reflect. What are the principles told in the devotion? What are the principles told? See, it is so important to understand. Now, if you take the whole Bhagavad Mahapuran, so many stories about everything is told. Then, in the 11th canto, 100% knowledge is brought out. Because in first 10 cantos, the seeker, the student is prepared to become knowledge worthy. Can we remain in KG1 class throughout life? You have to grow. It's very essential. So, there he is given the knowledge ultimately, and then the 12th canto, then again the snake then comes and that Parikshit dies. This is the story in short. On this, one person asked me this question. Swamiji, they say, if you listen to Bhagavad Mahapuran, your problem of death, etc. will be solved. But even the Purana itself, the snake, the Takshaka came and gave a strong bite to this Parikshit and he died. So what is the use? I said, if you are heard properly, this question will not come. In the 11th canto, Parikshit ji has fully discovered that the body is in me, I am not in the body. Therefore, when a pot breaks, nothing happens to the pot space. And when the pot is intact, that time also nothing happens to the pot space. The reason is because the space is not in the pot is in the space. Exactly the same way. What our Vedanta tells us, this world which we give so much importance, is it worth? Do we give so much importance to the mirage waters? We see that, we enjoy that, we talk about it, but we never think that let me harvest some mirage waters and satiate the thirst. No. Because what is recognition about that mirage waters? Recognition is it is an appearance without existence. And that mirage water appears only under n number of conditions, not any time. Exactly this waking world, it comes into existence only after body identification. See, I keep on traveling non-stop. So, every time the same problem, where I am. See? Last night, like I came here, we had some nice dinner and all that. I slept. And then when I got up at night, I couldn't find out where to go. Because you don't know where you are. Meaning what? This world comes into existence only after body identification. Otherwise, this world has no existence for us. Is it not true? For a person who is in coma, he doesn't suffer. No body identification. Life is there, but no suffering. But those other people, they feel bad. Oh, he is not suffering. Then who is suffering? Those who are paying the bills. They suffer. Not that man. Because for him, when the body identification is not there, then this world has no value. Then what is the meaning of this thing? The meaning is, when you are identified with the body, you have to lead a relative life. So, how to lead the relative life? Our Mahamantra told, wherever, whenever, whatever you are, be 100%. And how to do that? Karnataka, just play the role that you have to play. But don't get enrolled in that and suffer in life. See? So, devotion ultimately surrenders us at the feet of the Lord. And who is God? God is an embodiment of bliss. See? Therefore, a real devotee, when he goes in front of the Lord, he has no demands. He asks nothing. Then, like a candle at night in a dark room appears very bright. The same candle, 12 o'clock, put it in the sun, not even recognize. In the same manner, if the devotee is really fully surrendered to the Lord, it will be like that candle in front of the sun, not even recognized. And therefore, a devotee is the one who is living at a minimum eye level. And if he is living at a minimum eye level, then he can never get hurt. Because eye is not there. Who gets hurt? He who has got a strong eye. So, through devotion, we dissolve our eye in the presence of the divine, and through the knowledge, we inquire and find out really this world, all the relations because of whom I am so disturbed, is it worth? Who is disturbed? Is the husband disturbed? Where is the husband? Separate the husband from the man, show. See, friends. And then what is attained by the devotee, the same thing is the experience of the man of knowledge. They are not different. Therefore, Bhagavan Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. The wise man doesn't talk about his past, doesn't worry about his future. And who is a devotee? Devotee does not talk about anything except Bhagavan. See? The result is the same. Result is not different. And when both of them are brought together, then one recognizes, see, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samaha sarveshu bhuteshu. Then for him, there is no difference between knowledge, karma, yoga, or devotion. One and the same. But when we make compartments, then the jagda begins. The devotees think, we are not like you people in all the time, Brahman, 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 Krishna, 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 Krishna. See? Do that, no problem. But that is not all. Results must be seen. If we are devoted to the Lord, are we having an issue of security? See, friends, if we have an issue of insecurity in our life, our devotion to Him is doubtful. Devotion is very easy to say, but very difficult to practice. Contrary to that, knowledge and understanding is easier. See, friends. But what we normally understand, devotion is easy. No, it is very difficult. That is the reason, one of the reasons, I do not talk much on devotion. Because when you get fully, like, the other day somebody asked me, Swamiji, tell me something about somebody. And that somebody is the highest altar of reverence for me. And when that person asked me to speak, I just got totally dumb. I could not talk. Then he said, Swamiji, I am so sorry I disturbed you. I could not reply him. Like before the sun, a candle, does it have any existence to talk? Therefore, when we go through knowledge, through proper understanding, our reactions in the world are zero. Therefore, our Mahamantra, Dekho Suno Mat Bolo. Colors and the forms and names. This is the only thing we see in this world. And after seeing, what we do? Comment. So if we live in this world with no comments, then our mind is in tune with the divine that we are. And therefore, this knowledge and this devotion, they are not two. Like Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, same thought in a different context. After having told everything, ultimately Bhagavan says, Arjuna, I told you all that is to be told, yet because I love you, I tell you something more. And what he says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. The first step, don't worry. If we are devoted to the Lord, first thing that happens, worries disappear. But all the time worried. What kind of devotion we are practicing? And then Bhagavan says, Sarva dharman parityajya, give up everything. See? Give up everything is dispassion. Now, how do we give up? In devotion and in knowledge. In devotion, we give up everything. Meaning, I don't take this, I don't take that, I don't do this, I don't do this thing, I don't go to the cinema, I go watch the cinema at home only. Give up everything. Now, according to knowledge, what Bhagavan Krishna means, Sarva dharman parityajya, give up everything. What can you give up? No, I am staying with Jitendra. If I say, I have given up this house, how can I give up? Is it mine? Can I divorce somebody else's wife? No. So, Sarva dharman parityajya. Knowledge tells, find out what belongs to us. Then we start from not the external thing, start from our own body. Is this body created by us? Is this body ever listening to us? Yet our whole life is lived as the body, for the body, on everybody. See, friends, so when Bhagavan says, Sarva dharman parityajya, through knowledge, when we surrender at the feet of the Lord, that knowledge surrender merges together. That merging is ma shuchaha. You lead a tension, worries free life 24/7. And therefore, our Mahamantra is Jo Thari Rai So Mari Rai. O Lord, thy will be done, nothing to worry, nowhere to go. See, friends, when something is done with understanding, it has a different meaning. When something is done mechanically, it has a different meaning. See? Like he is helping me in sorting out some of the issues with my phone. Now, his understanding is different. Mine is mechanical. If something else comes, again I'll know, hey, how to do this thing. In the same manner, if we understand both the things are equally important, knowledge is required, devotion is required. The Maturity of knowledge is devotion. Devotion without knowledge is acrobatics. See? I'll tell you one example about this. Before this renovation of the Kashi Vishwanath temple in Varanasi, it is a very small temple. You can hardly accommodate people there. My friend, he arranged somehow, and I was sitting in that corner like this. And there, this Shiva Puja was going on. About a dozen pandits there. They were chanting Rudri, Chamakam, and all mantras and all that, and huge noise, tang, 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 going on. It was so deep that after that puja, everything was over. When we are driving back home, I did not say one word, and my friend also didn't ask me. He knew something is wrong with Swamiji. Then we went for a dinner to somebody's place. And after reaching their house, I went and sat. They were all worried. What happened to Swamiji? Normally, when he comes, it's a tufan. Ha ha hoo. Today, what happened? So, the person came, the host. Swamiji, everything is fine. I didn't answer. Then the other one who was driving me, he says, Swamiji is quiet since then, after the puja. So don't disturb. I said, all you sit down. Then I said, today, when I was attending that puja, the Shivalinga was there. Then what is the Shivalinga? Shivalinga is the formless form. Formless form means what? Reflect. What is the shape or a form of the space? Nothing. But without the space, can a form be established? So, the forms and the formless, they appear to be two. The path of inquiry and the path of devotion, they appear to be two. They are one. If the devotion is not practiced mechanically, and if the knowledge is not leading to arrogance, then there is a perfect balance. Then alone we will come to discover what Bhagavan said, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Then we come to know where the knowledge leads, there alone the devotee reaches. These two paths are not meant for reaching to two destinations, one and the same. It doesn't matter you come by flight, you come by car, you come by walking, it doesn't matter. What matters is, have you reached the destination or not? It doesn't matter whether you are following the path of devotion or knowledge. What matters is, are you one with the divine will? And if we have reached at the feet of our beloved Lord, devotion, or if we have discovered our essential nature, knowledge, in both the cases, result is the same. Whether you take a vegetarian food or you take a vegan food, result is the same. Stomach is fulfilled. No more desire for food. Exactly the same way. What are the symptoms that are manifested when you walk the path of knowledge or you walk the path of devotion? symptoms are we live at zero complaint level. No complaints. Why? Oh Lord, thy will be done. जो तारी रहा है सो मारी रहा है. Knowledge, ना कुछ पाना ना कुछ खोना. Nothing to gain, nothing to lose. Ultimately, the destination is the same. It doesn't matter what path you have followed. What matters is, have you attained fulfillment in life? See? यस्मात् क्षरमतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रतितः पुरुषोत्तमः. He who has thus discovered that he is beyond the kshara, the matter, and akshara, the jiva. Both of them merge in the absolute, therefore he is called a Purushottama. And this is not done, Bhagavan Krishna's words. Iti guhyatamam shastram idamuktam mayanagha. He anagha, he nishpap, O sincere seeker, idam guhyatamam shastra. So there are three stages through which the seeker has to go. Guhya Shastra is Dharma Shastra. Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chala, etc. Then Guhya Tara Shastra is Upasana Shastra. So first, the Dharma Shastra is done to discipline our life as somebody. Upasana Shastra is done to make our mind available to us. See, our mind is not available to us. When we sit for satsanga, mind is not available. Either it runs here or there, or it quick does. Mind is not available. For such, this devotion, upasana, is necessary. See, friends, and he who has thus crossed these two barriers, dharma, guhya shastra, upasana, guhya tara shastra, then we come to the third, guhya tama shastra. Guhya tama shastra is discover who you are. Iti guhya tamam shastram idamuktam maya anagha. Hey Anagha, hey Arjun, this is what I have told. Bhagavad Gita, we say, told about the knowledge and devotion and blah blah blah, yoga. No, 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 no. Bhagavan told only one thing. Discover your identity at a given period of time. Who you are. This is all, whole Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna had only this problem. He confused himself and Bhagavan Krishna. How can I kill my grandfather, my guru, etc.? Come on the battlefield, you are a warrior, not a disciple or not a grandson. This is what is our problem. We are unable to keep ourselves where we are, when we are, for what we are. Friends, therefore, there is no contradiction, there is no problem, either knowledge or devotion. Ultimately, sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam praja. So the same Paramatma, with the conditioning of the Maya, becomes the creator of the world. The same Paramatma, with the conditioning of the name and the form, becomes the world. The same Paramatma, with the conditioning of the Panchakoshas, he becomes the Jiva. But that doesn't mean he has become many. Therefore, we have to have perfect balance between these two. Knowledge and devotion. So with the world, live as a devotee of the Lord. with yourself, live as a seeker of truth, knowledge. Forgive, forget others. Don't forgive and forget yourself. Discipline. No way out. See? And we have to distinctly remember, as a given period of time, are we able to remain 100% or not? These two things put together, Bhagavan says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. I shall take care of all your sins. Now the question is, what is the sin? See? Sin is defined in Mahabharata. Sanat Sujatiya Grantha is there. It is said that Anyatha santamatmanam anyatha pratipadyate kim tena na krutam papam chorena atma apaharina. We are anyatha santamatmanam. We are essentially divine. Anyatha pratipadyate. But we take ourselves to be body, miserable, papoham, papakarmam. Has he now committed a sin of the highest order? Who is he? Chorena atma paharina. He is a thief. When in the scripture the word thief comes, you can imagine the importance of this. See? Chorena, thief. Atma paharina. He has stolen somebody's property. You are essentially divine, but we call ourselves to be the body. Is there more sin than this? Stealing somebody else's property. Therefore, ultimately it comes to this. Discover your divine nature. And it can happen when there is a perfect balance struck between both knowledge and devotion. If a cart has to go properly, both the wheels should be active, not only one. Therefore, when we are dealing with the world, follow the path of dharma. Our relation should be according to dharma. When we are working on our mind, we are not able to control our desires, etc. Hold on to Bhagavan Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Chant the Lord's name. And when the mind is thus made available to us, now that available mind is applied for study of scriptures. Those who can't hold their mind, how can they study scriptures? For study scriptures, you require 100% presence. And therefore, like we have seen yesterday, Tadvidnyanatham gurumevavi gachet samit panihi shrotriyam brahmanishtam. We have to go to the teacher, Shrotriya, who is well versed in the scriptures, and brahmanishta, abiding in the truth. And as a result, slowly, our negativities, three negativities with reference to body. Alasya, Nidra, Pramad. To get out of the alasya, laziness, physical work. To get out of the Nidra, devotion. Pramada is repeating the same mistake again and again. So to remove that pramada, remind yourself again and again, you cannot be the body. Because after body identification only, all other bodies are born. And samsara continues. Unless we remind ourselves again and again, then how to live in this world? Karnataka. So if you are in a driver's seat, then you are only a driver. That time don't fight with your wife. If you are cooking food, don't fight with your husband. Other your hand will go on the tawa and you will get burnt. How simple it is. It's not complicated. Thus, we have to train our mind. Whenever, wherever, whatever we are supposed to be, we should be 100%. It can be possible by practice. Therefore, don't differentiate between knowledge and devotion. They are one and the same. Many people have got this notion, devotion better, knowledge is not. No. When devotion is as a result of knowledge, it will never get corrupted. When the devotion is as a result of only emotions, it will get corrupted. One example I'll tell you and conclude. There was one seeker. He came to me and asked, Swamiji, I do not know what to do. I said, no, don't do then if you do not know. He said, no, there's a big problem. I said, then leave it. No, let me allow to talk. I said, okay, talk. He said, I was following one Mahatma and he gave me Diksha and he is my Guru. Okay, then with that I was doing my sadhana. Then I came to know that he is a cheat and he has destroyed many people, their families. Now my mind is so disturbed. What should I do? I said, think properly. All questions can be dissolved if you can learn the art of how to think properly. What is that? I said, look here. You are that Guru Maharaj. He helped you by remaining outside or manifesting in your heart. When the external Guru manifests in our heart, we are initiated in the art of thinking, understanding, and application of the knowledge or instruction given by the Guru in our life. So that has helped you. Now don't worry about the external Guru. He is in your heart. Don't leave him. Continue. And then he went. And after few months or a year, he came. Swamiji, thank you very much. Now my mind is absolutely clear. No disturbance of any kind. Therefore, never play with the altar of your devotion. When the Guru dies, the one who dies is not a Guru. The one who helps you, not from outside but from within. And the help of the Guru is we are always at peace because we are care of Gurudev Maharaj. Like a child. There may be anything happening around, but the child is in the lap of the mother and mother is worried, frustrated. The child is happy. I am care of my mother. Nothing can happen to me. That surrender takes away all the problems of life. And this is what, whether you call it as a devotion or knowledge, give whatever name you want to give. Don't differentiate between knowledge and devotion. Fructification of the knowledge is devotion. And a devotee never misunderstands anything or anybody in this world. Not misunderstanding anybody means knowledge. Not getting disturbed by anybody is devotion. Where is it? Therefore, friends, let us bring a perfect balance in our life wherein both knowledge and devotion are perfect. While dealing with the world, devotion. While dealing with ourselves, knowledge. We do the other way around. With ourselves, डिवोशन नहीं, कोई बात, सो जाओ, गिव वन and with others knowledge. You should be here on time. How can you change this? You have learned everything. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.